which made me think of Jared. And it says, if you save one soul, it is as if you saved an entire people. Jared did that and so much more. And it's in this spirit of Jared Monti we remember today, and which calls us to action. Thank you.
Thank you, Lieutenant Governor Murray. Proud to be on your Veterans Advisory Committee, and thank you for your kind words, not only to the Monti family, but to my family. And I could not have taken care of my son without my beautiful, loving wife, Mara, who is a Navy veteran herself. Almost 20 years of military service between the three of us, me, Vincent, and Mara. And that's a proud thing I like to tell people. And before our next guest speaker comes up, would Senator Mark Pacheco please come up to say a few words? Jared, Senator.
Thank you very much, sir, to you and to all of the veterans that have come together to put this day together and this ceremony together. I just want to say thank you. Every time I come to a Veterans Day ceremony, no matter where it is across my district, I am humbled because I see men and women who have served their country, in some cases in the most difficult circumstances than anyone can imagine. And they come back here after the service and they continue to be involved in our community, in this great country. As I listen to the words of the Lieutenant Governor and the work that is going on here in Massachusetts, we should all be proud of the work that is going on, because we are known throughout the United States as a state that does the most for our veterans. And it's only right and just that that be the case. We live in the greatest country in the in the world, the United States of America. But it is the greatest country because we can, as citizens, simply do something as simple as standing out here today, free, able to speak our mind, practice whatever religion we choose, and the list of rights go on and on and on. They're embodied in our United States Constitution. But there are men and women from time to time throughout our history that have defended those words in the Constitution to protect those freedoms and those rights that we have as Americans. Jared Monti was one of those men. When called upon, went willingly to serve his country and to protect the ideals that are in our Constitution, to serve his nation, and yes, even lay down his life for his fellow man, for his comrade, and for our country. It's because of people like Jared Monti that we continue to be the greatest country in the world, the United States of America. Thank you all for your service. Thank the Monti family for your service as well. And I think when we think about the Monti service, we also have to think about Paul's service to our country and to so many veterans, because in his grief, in his loss, whole Monti family, I suppose there are so many things that as a human being we might all do. But Paul took that and turned it in to making a difference for all veterans, and to make sure all veterans are recognized on Veterans Day with the flag program. Thank you so much for all that you have done. And again, to all the veterans, thank you so much for your service. God bless you, and God bless this country.
Our final guest speaker before Paul Monti comes up, and I chose him to be our last speaker. This young man was actually on the mountain with Jared when he was killed. And his name is Sergeant First Class Chris Cunningham. He's from Massachusetts, and I'm proud to call him up here. Chris, will you come up, please, say a few words?
All right, Paul, I'm going to keep this short because I know you like short. You don't like speeches. Yesterday, let me fix this thing. There we go. I'll bring it back down for you when you come up. Yesterday, I brought my family to Bourne, Massachusetts, for the Operation Flags for Vets. I didn't know what I was getting into. I didn't think that many people were coming, and I told my family they should come on up. It's 56,000 flags. We're going to be there all day. I showed up there. There was tons of vehicles out there. And I went into the cemetery. I don't know how many people were there, Paul. 1,200 people. That is crazy. That was awesome. My brother-in-law, TJ, and Casey were coming. They were running a little late. They thought they had plenty of time. They were going to be there setting flags with us all day. As soon as they released us to go put the flags in, I don't know how, it was maybe an hour, 56,000 flags. It's crazy. It was awesome. This morning I drove around with Paul. He showed me around Raynham. This is a great town. It's really nice to see flags up. It's really nice to be in this town, see all these great people. It's a very patriotic town, very patriotic state. Thank you very much for doing this, and God bless you.
Thank you, Chris, and all the members of the 10th Mountain Division for coming down from Fort Drum. And Paul, can you come up and say a few words?
Oh, that'll work. Give me a box to stand on, it'd be even better. I'd first like to send some thank yous. First of all, I'd like to thank every single person that's here today. God bless you all, and thank you for your patriotism to our country. I'd like to thank every single veteran out here, every person that's ever worn a uniform, to protect this country and keep it free. In wartime or peacetime, it doesn't make any difference. You are our line of defense. You are those that keep us free and safe. And I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart for doing that. As to the memorial, we need to thank the Cape Cod Veterans, Inc., the Italian American Post 6 of East Boston, the Korean Veterans of America, Chapter 299, VFW Post 10274, Dennis, Mass., Post 405, American Legion in Rainham. But mostly, above everything, my thanks has to go to this man right here, Jeff Brodeur. It was Jeff's idea to do this. And once Jeff decides he's going to do something, it gets done. And his son, my second son, I love you, Vinny.
I love you more.
I love you more than that. Stand up. Here's a veteran, folks. When I was asked to speak today, what do I say? Should I talk about Jared the boy or Jared the man? Should I talk about Jared the soldier or Jared the humanitarian? Where do I go with this? We'll start with Jared the boy. He wasn't much more than 4 years old. Got him a Hot Wheels for Christmas. You remember those crazy things. I'm home from work. Where's Jared? Oh, he's out in the driveway with his Hot Wheels. Well, what's he doing? Oh, he's got a board, hunk of plywood, and he's jumping ramps. What the hell? You try to kill yourself, son? Oh, Daddy, watch. Whoop, boom. This was Jared the boy. This was the kid that showed very, very early those qualities that went with him his entire life. The brazenness of, I can do it. Because it went from the Hot Wheels to the training bike jumping over ramps, to the big bike jumping over ramps, to the dirt bike, to no matter what, I can do this. Watch this, Dad. Gave his mother and I nothing but, agita. In the woods, gone hours and hours, where are you? But he also showed those other characteristics that he had. I can remember his elementary school teacher telling me about how when they were out at recess, Jared was in 2nd grade, and a young girl fell down, scraped her knee. And the teacher said she couldn't believe it because immediately the first person there to pick her up was Jared. Again, that kind of characteristic was built into him. His best friend at the time was a young man that towered over everybody else, much taller than anybody in his class. In the 2nd grade, he looked like he should have been in the 9th grade. But he was a very quiet kid. And so everybody picked on him. Now, Jared, who was all of 18 inches shorter than this kid, was his protector. It was unbelievable to see this little guy protecting this giant guy. But again, that was the character that he had. As he got into high school, these kinds of things magnified. He was by no means an angel. Where our middle school is today, those of you know the pits that were there. That was the sand pits. And every kid that could sneak away from home, sneak a can of beer here or there, was at the pits. And of course, Jared was there too. What was his role? He had to make everybody laugh, no matter what it was. Cheer them all up. So we don't have an angel here, not by any stretch of the imagination. but we do have a young man that cared about people. He found a woman in town when he was 16 years old, a single mom, 3 kids. They were having no Christmas. Jared comes home, Dad, you know those spruce trees in the front yard? You mind if I cut one down? Geez, Jared, you know, I don't know. I really don't want them there, but what do you want it for? Oh, me and the guys are going to have Christmas. Sure. Okay, Jared, go ahead. Then come to find out, he cuts the tree down, he brings it to this woman's house with a stand, buys all the lights, all the decorations, buys gifts for her and the kids, buys Christmas dinner for this family, and tells nobody. Nobody. I find out after he dies that he did this. Again, these were the characteristics that he had. He cared about people. He wanted to make everybody happy and would go to any extreme to do that. And as a man, he continued that activity. At Fort Bragg, North Carolina, he and 2 buddies had their own apartment. They went out, they bought furniture, furnished it. One day the 2 buddies come home, they go in the apartment, their brand new $1,200 kitchen set is gone. Jared comes home and they say, hey, Jared, what happened? The kitchen set's gone. Jared said, well, don't worry about it. I was visiting one of my boys' homes today, and his kids were eating dinner on the floor. So I figured they needed the kitchen set more than we did. So we can play quarters on the floor. Again, it was that aspect of him that he had in his heart. He had a great heart. My wife and I always wondered what was wrong when Jared could never come home on Thanksgiving or Christmas. Dad, I can't make it home. I have the duty. Well, how come you have the duty every Christmas and every Thanksgiving? And you're a sergeant now. Privates do that. Come to find out, he didn't have any duty at all. He took that private that had the duty and said, hey, you got a wife, you got a family, you go home, I'll take the duty for you. That was Jared the man. That was the kind of thing that he did. And he continued that into his soldiering. His soldiers were not just his underlings. They were his boys. They were his sons. They were people he cared about deeply. Every weekend, he wasn't off having a good time. He was at someone's house, helping them paint, putting down a new floor, paint the outside of the house. Whatever they needed done, he was there to help. Because again, his mission in life was to make people happy. And this continued on through his entire life. He was a great humanitarian. We would send him care packages, whether he was in Korea or Kosovo or Afghanistan. And what happened to those packages? They were opened and the contents were distributed to his fellow soldiers and to the locals, especially the children. The candy, the clothes, no matter what it was we sent him, he gave it away because they needed it more than he did. Again, those same qualities that keep coming out of this wonderful person that I have the privilege to call my son. In Afghanistan, when he received his leave to come home, he didn't come home. One of his soldiers had not seen his wife in 2 years. Jared gave that soldier his leave and said, you go home, be with your wife, don't worry about me. And I could go on and on and on, but I don't want to bore you. In the final days of his life, nothing was different. It was a 3-day climb up a mountain over 10,000 feet high with temperatures around 100 degrees. 3 days. But all the way up, there was Jared encouraging everybody. Come on, you can make it. Let's go. It's only one more click. Sure, it's 100 more clicks. But you can make it. That's the way he was. And then in the finality, Jared could only do what he had done his entire life. There was a boy in the middle of a field being fired at by the enemy. Jared had to do the right thing. He had to go out and try to save Brian Bradbury. There was no conscious, well, should I or shouldn't I? Might I get killed or not? There was none. There was only, this is what needs to be done. Brian needs to be brought to safety. And there was that adventure, and that there was that always try your hardest, and there was that never give up attitude that made him go out from behind the cover of those rocks, not once, not twice, but 3 times to save his comrade, Brian Bradbury. It's just the way he lived his life. If he were here today, he wouldn't be here today. He hated awards. All his medals went in a sock drawer. He was never one to, look what I won, here's the trophy, ever. He was extremely humble. Hated the camera, hated to be in the limelight. So today, while we honor him, where's he? He's in there at the bar, throwing down a couple Jack Daniels, laughing about this whole thing. Because that's not what he cared about, not himself. He cared about others. And that's the message I want remembered about my son. Not Rambo, not G.I. Joe, but the person that tried to help people, the person that cared, the great humanitarian that just wanted to bring joy and happiness to the world. Thank you very much for your time. God bless you.